Hey you! I'm so glad you're here today. I'm Jenny Prochko from Owls and Indigo, and I make videos about secular spirituality, writing and journaling prompts, little tidbits about the moon and how to use the moon for your goal setting, mental health and awareness, and my story. Today, I wanted to share with you one of my favorite witchy spirituality things, and that is my box of curiosities plus one of my favorite books when it comes to self-care and recipes, Incense, Oils, and Brews. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. So let's go ahead and get into my box of curiosities and some of my favorite recipes. So this is what my box of curiosities looks like. I have not gotten into this and printed it up or anything. This is what it looks like on a daily basis for me. This box holds all of my herbs that I use for incense. All of the herbs that I use for medicinal purposes are not in this box. Those are actually in my kitchen. That's how I keep things separate. If any herbs go bad from the kitchen, I just move them over here and use them as incense, and I don't ingest anything from this box. There's a couple of incense blends that I want to pull out of here and share with you. That way you can make them in time for Yule or just for the holiday season. I like to keep mine in little plastic baggies. It's just easier on storage. So let's go ahead and get into some of my seasonal favorites for this time of year. I have 2 Yule blends, and then I also have one from Mabon, which is the fall equinox. And then I've also got a Jupiter incense here, which is a recipe from this book, which I'll get into in just a second. And then the other things that I like to use this time of year are my little mini sage sticks that I made myself. I actually have a blog post on this, which I'll link down below. And then I have a jar of frankincense and myrrh, which is good to use any time of year. For me and my husband in this household, this has the special feelings associated with it because of the scent. I actually have a couple of articles. They are from my weekly spirituality tips on how I use scent to transform my space. And I talk about this here and the other ways that I use scent. But in terms of loose incense, we really like frankincense and myrrh all year round. It makes any moment feel special when we're using the frankincense and myrrh. First, let's go ahead and look at the incense blends that are not Yule and Christmas specific. So the first one that we have that we like to actually use all year round but has those spicy scents associated with the holidays is the Jupiter blend. The Incense, Oils, and Brews book actually has 3 different Jupiter blends, and the one that we like to use is number 3 in this book. 1 part clove, 1 part nutmeg, 1 part cinnamon, a 1/2 part lemon balm, and a 1/2 part citrus peel. And I actually used dried orange peels for this one, and I dried the orange peels myself. So the Jupiter incense is one that we like to use whenever we aren't sure what scent we're looking for, if we don't have a particular scent craving for anything during any of the holidays that we celebrate. The next thing that we like to use year round when we aren't sure what we want to use are these little teeny tiny sage bundles. So I made these. They are actually from some sage from the store. We had to get sage for a recipe one year, and I believe it was a roast that we were using the fresh sage for, and we just didn't have a use for it otherwise because we weren't cooking with it. So I just went ahead and bundled up the leftover sage and then dried it and turned it into these little mini smudge sticks. I really like this for just anything. I really like this because of the tiny nature and the transportability. You can also use these up pretty fast compared to the big sage sticks that you normally see. This one has apple and oak leaves in it. I made this one a couple of years ago, and this lasts us really long because we don't use loose incense that much. We don't just have it burning in our house. We use it for special occasions and to just like set the tone and set the mood for whatever we're celebrating or whatever time of year it is. The Mabon recipe for loose incense in the Incense, Oils, and Brews is really similar to the one that I made here, and it is 2 parts frankincense, 1 part sandalwood, 1 part cypress, 1 part Jupiter, 1 part pine, 1/2 part oak moss, and a pinch of pulverized oak leaf. So mine has apple, oak, bay leaves, frankincense, and I think rosemary. I wish I would have written this recipe down because I really like this blend. The Yule Recipe from Incense Oils and Brews is 2 parts frankincense, 2 parts pine needles or resin, 1 part cedar, and 1 part juniper berry. I like to find incense recipes online and then adapt it to what I have in my herb stash, and then also what I have access to. If I wanted to go buy it locally or just, run out to the store and grab it. So I have one here that is that recipe that I just shared with you, and then I have another one that has citrus peels in it. We tend to use a lot of citrus peels in our incense blends, and I just like the lightness that it gives and how it brightens up each incense blend. And you can actually use these loose incense blends as just potpourri, so you don't have to light these on a coal. You could just put them in a little potpourri dish, or you could, if you have animals, I wouldn't recommend doing that and leaving it out loose. I would get a spice jar with little holes on the top where you could pour out the spices. Put that cap on there after you put your herbs in there, and then just shake it up, and you can use that as a potpourri dish. You can also use these recipes for oil blends. I really like that you can use herbs for a lot of different things when it comes to scent. Got incense, potpourri, oils. There's a bunch of different things that you can use these base herb recipes for. You can definitely play around and make it your own. The Incense Oils and Brew was one of the first books that I got into when it came to creating my own loose incense. This has a lot of really great recipes for oils, lotions, soaps, balms, incense. It's a really great book to have in your collection, whether you're witchy or not. This is a super great book just for seasonal scents and also for self-care. If you want to make your own self-care and body products, this is a really great book to get some ideas for the different blends that you can use and the different scents that you can put into your homemade products. So do you make any loose incense yourself? What are the blends that you use? I'm always looking for new blends and new scents. And then also, do you use any of these to make your own lotions or your own oils or personal self-care products? I'd love to know in the comments down below. You can find me over on Instagram at @owlsindigo, that's where I am most, or over on my website, owlsindigo.com, where I share weekly spirituality tips, little writing and journaling prompts, tidbits about the moon, and how to move through the lunar phases with your goal setting, mental health and awareness, and my story. I'm so grateful that you chose to spend your time here with me today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.